Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us after they trashed my house last time? So here's the situation. A couple of years ago, my wife's, female 34, brother, John, male 36, and his wife, Sarah, female 35, were going through a rough patch and needed a place to stay for a few weeks while they figured things out. My wife, being the caring person she is, asked me, male 37, if they could stay with us temporarily. And I agreed because family is family, right? Well, the few weeks turned into nearly 4 months. During that time, they completely took advantage of our hospitality. John treated our house like it was his own personal man cave, leaving trash everywhere and never helping with chores. Sarah wasn't much better. She kept borrowing things from our kitchen and bathroom without asking and never replaced anything. Our guest room looked like a tornado hit it when they finally left. The worst part? They had 2 kids, 5 and 7 at the time, and while I get that kids can be a handful, they were out of control. They would run through the house at all hours, break things, and scream over every little disagreement. My wife and I repeatedly asked John and Sarah to rein their kids in, but it always fell on deaf ears. After they moved out, it took us weeks to clean up the mess they left behind, and we even had to replace some broken furniture. My wife apologized, and we agreed that we wouldn't put ourselves through that again. Fast forward to now, John and Sarah are once again having issues and asked if they could stay with us for a little while they figure things out again. My wife immediately said yes, but I put my foot down and said absolutely not. I reminded her of the disaster that was their last stay and told her I wasn't willing to go through that again, especially since they hadn't apologized or acknowledged how badly they treated our home the last time. My wife is upset, saying I'm being heartless and that family comes first. She thinks I should give them another chance and says I'm overreacting. But I feel like I'm just setting boundaries. We have 2 kids of our own, and I don't want them to have to deal with the chaos that John and Sarah always seem to bring. Now my wife is giving me the cold shoulder, and her family thinks I'm the bad guy for not helping out in a time of need. So, am I the a-hole for refusing to let my in-laws stay with us after they trashed my house last time?
Family comes first. Your family too, right? Don't do it. I had a similar situation with a cousin. He left a terrible mess after he left. My partner talked me into letting him back, and, for years later, I'm still mad about the mess he left and the way we were treated. Not the a-hole.
Well, this makes me feel so much more sure of my answer. If it has happened once, it will happen again.
Fire back at the people who think that you should take them in again with, how about giving them some space in your house?
Exactly. If family comes first, OP needs to take care of his family and protect his kids from 2 cousins that have no boundaries. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Have a heart-to-heart with the spouse. Find alternate arrangements for the other family. See if the rest of the family can pitch in to pay for a place, because after the trashing they gave your home, they're not welcome to stay.
Not the a-hole, of course. What in the world is wrong with your wife? Does she routinely make decisions that will affect you without consulting you? I can't imagine being so thoughtless toward my spouse.
She often never consults me about decisions that involve me. That is one of the things that annoys me the most.
This is on you for letting her treat you that way. Talk to her or walk away, because she is going to continue to be like this. Do you want this for the rest of your life? Not the a-hole.
I agree, as this is a common occurrence for OP's wife to make unilateral decisions, which would not fly with me and wouldn't have with my husband. OP needs to decide whether to allow it to continue and shut up about it, talk to his wife in depth and put a stop to it, or walk away. I could not possibly live a lifetime with someone who so casually disregards that marriage is supposed to be a partnership with equal say and joint decisions for big issues.
Not the a-hole. Her family considers you are the bad guy. Why don't they help? They can give them money or take them in their house. Not enough place? 1 child with mummy in a house, the other with daddy in the other house. Problem solved. Not your problem. You helped them for 4 months and you received nothing but a disaster. They were disrespectful and you deserve better. It's a 2-yes situation and you said no. So she can't let them come in. Maybe time to take a front door camera if you don't have one, to record what happened in front of your home, if she invites them when you're working. Just in case.
Everyone seems to forget about me letting them in the first time as soon as I refuse the second. They are all so unappreciative.
Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend my sister's child-free wedding after she asked me not to bring my baby? My 34 female sister, 29 female, is getting married in 3 months. She's having a child-free wedding, which I totally respect. My husband, 35 male, and I have a 3-month-old baby. When my sister first told us about the child-free situation, I assumed there would be some flexibility for immediate family, especially newborns who can't be left alone. I talked to my sister and asked if we could bring our baby to the ceremony, explaining I am breastfeeding and we don't feel comfortable leaving our baby with someone for an entire day. We have to fly into the town where she is getting married, and we don't know anyone there, so we would have to leave the baby with a stranger there, or leave the baby back home with someone we know for a long period of time. I am quite anxious about being away from our newborn for too long, which my sister knows. To my surprise, my sister was adamant that no children, including our baby, would be allowed at the wedding. She said it wouldn't be fair to make an exception for us when other guests are also not allowed to bring their kids. I asked if we could at least bring the baby for the ceremony and leave afterward, but she said no, explaining she wants a strict no-kids atmosphere the entire day. I told her that if our baby couldn't come, we'd likely skip the wedding because it's too hard to leave our newborn for such a long stretch of time. We thought about the idea of just having my husband attend, but that also seemed a bit strange too. I also don't want to just leave the baby with my husband and go by myself. My sister got very upset with me, saying it's her special day, and she feels like I'm putting our baby above her wedding. She even hinted that I should figure out how to detach from the baby for just a few days and that we should understand how important this event is for her. Maybe I am being unreasonable for not willing to leave my baby behind, but I just feel like I should be there for my baby at all times. Plus I know how anxious I am gonna feel that entire day. My sister's argument is that it's her wedding and her rules, and while I respect that, I also think she should be more understanding of our situation. Am I really the a-hole for refusing to attend her wedding if I can't bring my baby?
Another day, another am I the a-hole for not going to a child-free wedding, or variations thereof. After 5 million of these stories, it's still difficult to understand why those holding child-free weddings get upset when people with children won't come to your precious wedding. It's equally difficult to understand why those with children keep wanting exceptions for their rugrats. Not the a-hole for not going, not the a-hole for wanting a child-free wedding. There, I hope that clears it up for future posters. Also, as a side note, no one has a bullet to your head about funding a wedding you don't want to attend. Don't fund it and don't attend it.
The only time anyone is an a-hole is when they make demands and/or throw a fit. Kinda like the sister. Not the a-hole.
I found it kind of funny when the sister accused OP of choosing her baby over her wedding. Yeah, a parent would choose their child over a party, even a really significant party.
Not the a-hole. Logistically, you can't leave your baby for that long. Your sister doesn't want to make an exception, so she decides to be mad that you're respecting her decision. To be honest, it's very difficult for people who haven't or don't breastfeed to understand how hard it is to be away from a 3-month-old. They can be cluster feeding at that age. Even if they are not, you'd have to figure out pumping, keeping things clean and cool, not over pumping, and that's even if you can pump. Some people cannot, some babies refuse bottles. It's a whole nightmare that can have big consequences for the health of the baby and mother. I'm not risking a starving or dehydrated baby or mastitis by choosing to be away from my baby for X many hours. Is a valid decision, so is the bride's no babies. They are incompatible positions. I am sorry, there is no good answer for this.
It won't be a 3-month-old. It's in 3 months, so it will be a 6-month-old. Still nothing wrong with not going, and totally understandable to not have the baby at the wedding.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.